Hello everyone. I've got another story for you this week from the company called the Lost Sheep Company. Now this story is actually an Easter story. That's a bit strange, isn't it? It's about a donkey, not a sheep this time, a donkey called Dave. Imagine that, a donkey called Dave. I hope you like the story. Dave the donkey was so excited. He'd been watching all week for Grandpa Donkey to get back from Jerusalem. Dave had some big news he'd been waiting to share with him. I wonder what news it was. Well, that sounds very exciting, doesn't it? Grandpa, guess what? I carried the king into Jerusalem. You're joking, Dave. No, Grandpa, I carried the king. I wonder what king he's talking about. I was standing out the front, minding my own business, when the king's servant untied me and led me to the king. The king jumped on my back, and we charged down the hill and up the mountain to Jerusalem. Wow. The crowd waved branches and everyone cheered. Hooray for the king! Hooray for the king! My goodness me, that must have been exciting, mustn't it? We said goodbye and I headed home, leaving the king to get on with the job of being king. So, Grandpa, you've been in Jerusalem since then. Tell me what happened next. Did the crowd keep cheering for the king? Well, Dave, the crowd were yelling for the king. Wow, said Dave. That sounds really exciting. And I'm sure all the leaders came to meet him. Yes, sighed Grandpa. The king did meet all the leaders. And Grandpa, they would have placed a golden crown upon his head. They certainly crowned the king. But the crown wasn't made of gold. The throne, Grandpa. They must have led the king into the palace, sat him on the throne, and cheered, "Long live the king!" I don't think they did. Not quite like that. No, Dave, sighed Grandpa. There was no throne. They led the king out of Jerusalem, and they nailed him to a cross. But Dave was a bit upset with that. That does sound very sad, doesn't it? Dave was stunned. A cross? So the king is dead. Oh my goodness, that sounds terrible. No, Dave. The king was dead. The king was placed in a tomb, and the tomb was sealed with a heavy stone. If you could remember what happened next, it was very exciting. But now the king is alive. He was dead, but the tomb is empty and the king is alive. Wow, that's fantastic, isn't it? Dave stared across the valley to Jerusalem as the strange and wonderful news rolled through his mind. The king was dead, but now he's alive. Grandpa, asked Dave, did you ever carry someone special that you will never forget? Oh, yes, Dave, said Grandpa. As a matter of fact, I did. It was long ago, on a starry night like this. I carried someone special that I will never forget. What if you can think who it might be? Long live the king! Long live the king! Isn't that a wonderful story? Isn't that special? So Dave the donkey was the donkey that carried Jesus into Jerusalem before he was killed. But Grandpa was the donkey that carried Mary to Bethlehem when she was expecting Jesus. She was going to have Jesus as a baby. So they had both met the King, our wonderful Saviour. What a fantastic story. Just imagine what it would have been like. I know it was an Easter story, but it's such an important part of the Christian message that Jesus died and then he came alive again, and he's alive today, and he can be friends with every single one of us. Isn't that wonderful? I hope we've got another quiz for you today. I hope you enjoy it. See you again soon. Bye.
Hi, boys and girls. Well, we are having some absolutely amazing stories in kids' time. And what wonderful storytellers we have in our church. Thank you so much for another brilliant story. Today's quiz game is a little bit different. It's all about colours. I wonder what your favourite colour is. If your mum or dad said you could wear your favourite colour today to school, what colour would you choose? I know what my favourite colour is, but I'm not going to tell you. Right, okay. I'm going to give you a colour. I'm going to say a colour. And I want you to try and think of anything that you know about that is that colour. Okay? So if I were to say the colour red, what would you say that is that colour? Can you think of anything that is the colour red? It's actually not as easy as it sounds, is it? What is coloured red? Any ideas? Oh, I can hear a few suggestions there. Well, let's think together. Red is the colour of danger. If there is a sign telling us about something dangerous and to be careful, it's usually painted red or has got red letters or red on the sign somewhere. In the traffic lights on the road, the red light means that the car should stop. What else is coloured red? Sometimes we eat a shiny red apple, don't we? Or with our salad or our sandwiches, we might eat a nice red tomato. Or if we like something a bit hot, we might like a red pepper. Ah, yes. Or we might like, with some nice cream, some strawberries in a bowl, 'cause they're red as well. And at home, if you have taps on the bath or on the wash basin, usually the hot tap has a red colour marking on it, and the blue tap, well, that's another question a bit later. We're talking about red at the moment. Did you get all of those? Did you get any that I didn't think of? Bet you did, because you're very clever. Let's think about another colour, but first of all, I have to have a sip of my very tasty coffee. Right, I'm ready now. What about the colour blue? What can you think of that is coloured blue? Any ideas? Well, I've got a few, but you may have a few more than I do. What's your ideas? Oh, yes, that's a very good idea. Well done indeed. Well, the sky is often blue. Sometimes people's eyes are blue. Sometimes, and we are very lucky, aren't we, to live by the seaside, but we can look out and on a nice sunny day, the water and the sea looks blue, as it does in the swimming pool. And sometimes, do you remember the hot tap had a red colour on it, and the cold tap has a, yes it does, it has a blue colour on it. Sometimes if you fall over and bash yourself and get a bit of a bruise on your skin, that goes blue as well. And if you feel really cold, sometimes your lips go blue. Can you think of anything else that's blue? I've run out of ideas, but yeah, that's right. Very good indeed. Now, what about the colour green? Any ideas what's coloured green? I'm going to have a sip of my coffee while you have a think and give me your answers this time. There were some good answers there. Well done. Well, we have green grass. Yeah, did you get that? Green hills. We have green leaves on the green trees. Green plants. And those fruits that look like lemons but are green, they're called limes. Did you get any of those at all? Well done if you did. What about the colour yellow? What's yellow? Yes, that's good. Well done, that's brilliant. Yes, sometimes we would say that the sun up there in the sky, that's yellow. And often the moon at night is a very pale yellow colour, isn't it? And there are lots of flowers that are yellow, like daffodils, buttercups, dandelions, primroses, custard's yellow, and egg yolk, that's yellow, isn't it? Yeah, and those rather bitter fruits they're a bit sour to eat. Lemons and some melons. They're yellow too. What about the colour white? Can you think of anything that's coloured white? Often the walls of our houses are white, well, certainly inside, and the window frames, and sometimes the doors. And we speak about the whites of our eyes, the edge bit around the coloured bit in the middle. Clouds can be white up there in the sky. Snow? Don't see much of that round here, do we? But that's always white. Sheep? They're quite often white as well, aren't they? Can you think of anything else? Cotton wool? That's usually white. My hair? My hair's white. But most people's isn't. It's just that I'm very old. Okay, what about the opposite colour, the colour black? Any ideas? What's coloured black? The darkness at night's black, isn't it? Tarmac on the road. That's black. Well, that's a good idea. Well done there. Yes, that's a good few answers. Soot up the chimney. That's black. Sometimes the shoes that we wear on our feet, or the socks that we wear, they're black. I don't much like black socks. I like very colourful ones, but I have to admit, I am a bit strange, aren't I? What about the colour orange? Well, a fruit. It's called orange because it's coloured orange. Yes, oranges are orange. Apricots are orange. Mandarins, tangerines, they're orange as well. Orange speaks to us of things that are warm. But I can't think of anything else that's orange, can you? Marmalade's orange. Can you think of anything else? No? Okay. One last colour. What about the colour pink? You got anything pink in your house? Can you think of anything that's pink? Our skin's sort of kind of pink, isn't it? And if we get too much sun, it goes bright pink and stings a bit. Meat that's not quite cooked is pink in colour. Quite often, when they're very small, we buy baby girls pink stuff to wear. Carnation flowers are pink, as are those flowers that look like them that are called pinks. They're called that because they are pink. Well, at least I think that's a pretty good reason to call them it. Can you think of anything else? Here's some homework for you. I'm not giving you any answers, just wondering if you can guess. This week, have a look around and see what you can see that's coloured silver. And see what you can find that's gold in colour. But now, that's all for me. This is Steve saying bye for now. See you next Sunday. Bye.